Right now, 5:30, a man is dead after an officer-involved shooting in Harlan. What we know about the investigation just ahead this morning.
Also on WKYT, GE has announced plans to close plants in Lexington and Somerset. We'll have more on that decision and what it means for workers. That's coming up.
And thousands of UK students will be moving back into the dorms this weekend. What sort of traffic impact that will have ahead on WKYT this morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. I'm Bill Bryant. It's great to have you on WKYT on the Friday that we look forward to the weekend.
Always, really much. Unless it's not your weekend. And there are some people in the news business who unfortunately have to work, they have their Monday, Tuesdays on the weekend. But, we hope theirs is good as well. But, Micah, we're hearing we may have to have a plan B.
Yeah, especially for Sunday into Monday and Tuesday. Now we're starting to see that setup really come into high gear during that time. So today, small chance of rain, not a great chance. Can't rule out a passing shower or thunderstorm. Really, it's about the heat, though. I mean, it is warm and humid. It's been like that the past few days. It's going to be again like that. 89 degrees later on this afternoon, but feeling like the mid to upper 90s, unless you're under one of these showers or thunderstorms. Now, we're going to go over that, and also I'm going to show you your weekend forecast. Like I was talking about earlier, there is some good news for some of us. With all these events and all these plans going on, I'll show you what that good news is coming up in a few minutes.
All right, we'll see you shortly. Thank you.
This morning, investigators are trying to figure out what led to a deadly officer-involved shooting in Harlan County.
Still a lot of questions about that, and our Michelle Chamberlain is at our alert desk with what we know at the moment. Michelle?
Yeah, Bill, so far we know that police say one man was killed about 7 o'clock last night in the Woodland Hills subdivision that's near Harlan. State police say officers from Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, Lexington Police, and the Lexington Fire Department's arson unit were involved in an altercation with the man from Harlan County. Police say that man was killed, but they did not say who shot him.
I mean, it's very unfortunate anytime there's an individual or a law enforcement has to use deadly force. But again, it's very early in the investigation. We're still trying to gather details exactly what led up to this.
State police have not released the name of the man, and they did add that no officers were reported to be injured. So a lot still to learn in this, as you heard from that trooper. Guys, back to you.
Michelle, today an elected official from Elliott County will face a judge for her alleged misuse of public money. The Attorney General's office started investigating Elliott County Clerk Sheila Blevins in 2014 after an audit found more than $15,000 missing from her office. Blevins' sister, Jenny Moore, who is a deputy clerk, is also charged. Both face fines of up to 5 years in prison.
New this morning, a 4-year-old in Louisville was rushed to the hospital after being shot. Police say the little girl was shot last night inside an apartment in the Algonquin neighborhood. They say the girl's parents brought her to Corsair Children's Hospital, and she is expected to be okay. Police say they do not know if she shot herself or if someone else shot her. They also have not said who owned the gun involved or who else was at the apartment at the time.
More than 200 General Electric workers in Kentucky are losing their jobs. GE announced it plans to close its lamp plant in Lexington and a halogen light plant in Somerset next year. In a statement, a spokesperson told WKYT, quote, "Looking forward, GE Lighting will focus entirely on driving innovation and growth in LED technology. By 2020, half of the U.S. market's consumer light bulb sockets will be LED, and more than 80% of all global lighting revenues will come from LED. A spokesperson says the shift towards LED light bulbs has left the Lexington and Somerset plants operating at only a fraction of their capacities. Under the current plan, GE will phase out operations by the end of August 2017. The spokesperson says the local union has 2 months to ask for a different plan.
We are learning more about a southern Kentucky man who died in a motorcycle crash. Police say 30-year-old Bentley Hayes was riding on Highway 192 in Laurel County Wednesday night when his motorcycle hit a minivan. They say he died at the scene. Friends say Hayes was a well-known motorcycle rider in the area, and he often organized charity rides to help out families who had lost loved ones in crashes.
He was the type of person that, you could meet him from one time and it felt like you knew him forever.
Hayes recently had been living in Richmond, but friends say he was originally from Laurel County. Police are asking for help this morning in finding a man wanted in 2 Kentucky counties. Richmond police say they are looking for 33-year-old Billy Cottle. They say this surveillance picture of him was taken Monday at J. Webb Auto Sales in Richmond. Police say Cottle broke into the business and ransacked the office. They say he is wanted in Lee County for escape, fleeing and evading, and wanton endangerment charges. While Caudle is from Beattyville, police think he is staying in Richmond.
In world news, the United States is still in the lead in the 2016 Rio Olympics medal count. We have 38 medals right now. China is in second place, has 30, and Japan has 22. The U.S. currently has 16 gold medals. One is in cycling, 2 are in gymnastics, 1's in judo, and another is in shooting. The other 11 are in swimming. In silver, we have 12 with medals in archery, diving, fencing, gymnastics, judo, and swimming. And in bronze, the U.S. has 10 medals in equestrian, shooting, and swimming. We'll have Olympic highlights, including footage of Michael Phelps' record-setting win, coming up in the 6 o'clock hour.
All right, something to see, and that's in a few minutes.
Yeah. Hillary Clinton could release her 2015 tax returns today.
The release comes as her rival, Donald Trump, hints that his campaign could be in trouble in one conservative state. Brian Webb has the latest on Campaign 2016.
Donald Trump didn't sound like himself talking to evangelical preachers in Florida. He admitted his campaign is having problems in places like Utah.
We're having a problem. I mean, because, you know, look, it could cost us the Supreme Court. We're going to have 4 or 5 justices put on.
Adding to Trump's troubles, reports that 70 Republican senators urged the RNC to steer resources toward congressional races and away from Donald Trump, something the Republican National Committee and the GOP nominee deny.
Well, there's no truth, but I'm the one that's funding. I'm the one that's raising the money, and other people are getting to use the money that I raise. And, I mean, if it is true, that's okay, too, because all I'll have to do is stop funding the Republican Party.
Hillary Clinton unveiled her economic plan in Detroit Thursday and pledged to keep her economic promises.
I will stop any trade deal that kills jobs or holds down wages, including the Trans-Pacific Partnership.
Something Donald Trump pounced on, reminding voters that Clinton supported the partnership while Secretary of State, but reversed her opinion on the trade deal during the primaries.
And all of a sudden she went from it's the gold standard to she won't approve it.
Clinton is also facing scrutiny over 300 pages of her emails released this week. Some suggest possible ties between the Clinton Foundation and the State Department, a connection the Clinton campaign denies. Brian Webb for CBS News.
There are 87 days left until the election. Hillary Clinton is off the campaign trail today. Donald Trump campaigns in the battleground state of Pennsylvania.
A controversial Knox County School Board candidate is receiving criticism from one of his opponents. Dexter Smith was the Knox County School Board chairman until he resigned earlier this year. That came after surveillance video surfaced showing someone else taking Smith's GED for him. Smith is one of 3 candidates running for School Board District 4, along with Jock Ashburn and Chuck Stovall. Yesterday, candidates drew numbers to decide what orders the names will appear on the ballot, but only Stovall showed up, and he didn't have good things to say about Smith.
Well, I wanted to talk to Dexter, and I wanted to talk to Doc Ashburn. I like Doc Ashburn. He's a good man. Dexter, he's not a good person.
Smith declined to comment about his decision to run for school board again.
Today, 21 Kentucky groups and individuals will be honored for their service. Governor Matt Bevin and Lieutenant Governor Janine Hampton will present the annual Governor's Service Awards. That ceremony is at 4 o'clock this afternoon at the Capitol Rotunda in Frankfort. And today, people will gather in Woodford County for the Unity in the Community event. It is meant to bring people of all backgrounds together to show their love for each other and their appreciation for Woodford County first responders. That is from 6 until 7:30 tonight at Journey Church. That's on Hope Lane off Lexington Road in Versailles, and everybody welcome to attend that.
Thousands of University of Kentucky students will be moving back in the dorms tomorrow.
And combined with the construction that's going on, the move-ins are expected to significantly impact traffic in and around campus. Good thing it's on Saturday. WKYT's Mike Byer is live at the University of Kentucky with more on what you can expect as far as closures and delays. Mike?
Over 5,000 students will be moving into their dorms like Holmes Hall behind me over the next few weeks here at UK. Of that number, half of them will be moving in tomorrow morning. Because of the Big Blue move, traffic flow around UK's campus is going to change. Here are the streets that will turn into one-ways. Martin Luther King Boulevard will become a one-way street between Good Samaritan parking lot and Avenue of Champions. Lexington Avenue will change to a one-way between Maxwell Street and Avenue of Champions. Speaking of Avenue of Champions, it will become a one-way between Rose and Limestone. No through traffic will be be allowed as well. Hewlett will turn into a one-way between University Drive and Rose Street. Same goes for Hilltop Avenue between University Drive and Woodland Avenue. As for Woodland Avenue, it becomes a one-way between Hilltop and Columbia. And lastly, Sports Center Drive between Woodland Avenue and the E-Lot will become a one-way tomorrow morning. Now, there'll be plenty of UK police and personnel out and about helping with those who are moving in tomorrow. Coming up at WKYT News at 6, there's more traffic changes in store. We'll take a look at them. Live in Lexington, Mike Byer, WKYT.
All right, thank you. Always a fun time of year when the students start showing back up. That brings life back to the city, you know?
It does.
4 boys spent the summer offering free lawn services for people over in Louisville.
And now they're being paid back for their good deeds. Barbara Wilson says the yard work started as punishment for one of her sons when she told him to mow yards. But he actually enjoyed mowing lawns, and soon his brothers joined in. It's turned into a source of inspiration and celebration. People around the world heard about the family's lawn service crew, so an organization bought them a new lawnmower so they can continue their work.
We've touched a lot of people's heart, and we've done good for a lot of people.
The brothers say their free lawn care service went viral online. They received messages from as far away as Australia and Africa. And so we'd had a story on them before, and looks like there's a little update to that.
There is. And what about that? That they're getting so much attention, and who knows where they take it from here. It is 5:42 now on WKYT this morning, and let's check live drive traffic on your Friday and see what's going on. Here's the current look at the region, and it's good. We have no reports of any problems on the interstates or major arterials.
Looks good. And here's a look at the Fayette Urban County Government's live drive cam, the view of Limestone and Euclid.
And it's quiet there as well. We don't have any troubles right now, and we'll keep you informed as we get into the rush hour in a few minutes. A lot more news coming up on WKYT on your Friday morning.
When you're at the ballpark, you usually try to keep your nachos and foul balls away from each other. We'll take a look at one guy who wasn't so successful when we come back on WKYT this morning.
Can't wait to see that video. Defender Radar Network, we're timing the weekend rain chance. It's going to be there. There's no getting around it, but it's pushed back just a little bit. There is some good news in there. And I'll show you my 7-day and those chances coming up next.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
It's a pretty nice start to the day in terms of the way it looks outside. It does not feel great. Hey, don't forget about this. You can still peek out your window to try to see the Perseid meteor shower until the sun rises. So, yeah, we still have a little bit of time before we actually see that sunrise, and you can check that out. 78 degrees right now in Lexington. And as we continue to go throughout the day, we'll actually see those temperatures rise pretty rapidly. We'll be right there by the afternoon. We'll be holding on to temperatures around 89 degrees. So things are still heating up. They're still there. Remember, sunrise is right there just before 7 a.m., so you'll be able to see that here throughout the next hour or so. School zone forecast, that's the look. Small chance of rain later on today. Kids getting onto the bus, no problems. Kids getting off the bus, for the most part, no problems. Here's your look by the afternoon at 4 p.m. Upper 80s to around 90 degrees. It's more about the heat than anything else. So the shorts, short sleeve shirts, absolutely, that is the go-to for today. Again, now let me tell you this. Once we get into the afternoon, can't rule out a blip or two here or there of a shower or thunderstorm. Now let's talk about Saturday. I've been telling you about some good news. And the good news is Saturday. Look at this right here, okay? So it's continuing to back up, timing-wise, on this front. 3 days ago, 2 days ago, it looked like it was going to be Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Now it's more of Sunday, Monday, Tuesday because it's backing up a little bit. There's no progression in this. It's staying over that region and just continuing to put down heavy amounts of rain in that area. That leaves us wide open for mainly dry conditions. And so Saturday, stick to your plans. You got a lot of events going on. I know there's a big run going on there Saturday evening, and I'm going to stop it here at 8 p.m. Saturday evening, small chance of rain during that time. Can't rule it out, okay? But the Midsummer Nights run during that time here in Lexington, that's a big run. It's a cool run. You head off towards your evening and you're running instead of the morning hours. It's pretty neat. It's actually a pretty neat event. So if you're heading downtown for any festivities before that too, know that it's mainly dry. Can't rule out that rain chance though. Just can't do it. But all in all, it's more about the humidity that you're going to be rolling through. During the nighttime hours, here comes some showers, thunderstorms. And then look at Sunday. Then you're talking about getting some widespread rain in here Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So we got the Facebook pics of the day. Kimberly Burnett, the 3 there. My buddy there, Poor guy. He knows it by now. He is outnumbered. He has no chance at the house right there with 2 girls in the house. And then my little man right there, Mason's first day of kindergarten, supporting the Wildcats. There you go. That's Chelsea West. Guys, like I was talking about today, a small chance of rain, but Saturday, only a few storms. Most stay dry on Saturday. It's Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday that widespread heavy rain moves on in. Got to be watching out for flash flooding.
We will do that.
Mason was, his backpack is about as big as he is.
About as big as, yeah, I don't know how he held that one up.
That's cute. All right. Well, we'll deal with the showers and get through it. 5:48 now.
So if you're a fan of baseball or just crazy foul ball pitches and catches, you've probably seen the video of the Pittsburgh Pirate fan who got a face full of nachos trying to make a catch.
This happens. If you haven't seen the video yet, here's the call again in slow motion.
See what happened. He's going for the catch. Oh, my.
He did it to himself.
Wow.
Nachos. A face full of nachos and cheese and salsa. Beer went flying.
All right, so Corey Heinman is the nacho man. He says he still has his stained T-shirt from the game, and he might just frame it. And even though he thought he had dropped his nachos, the Pirates gave him more food, a pair of new shirts, and a ball to replace the one that got away. For now, Heine says he is fine watching games from the couch.
Don't let a little nacho mishap stop you, though, right?
He could spill his nachos and nobody would know if it happens again.
Oh, man. Right there.
Right there in public. All right.
If he went back for another serving. Those barbecue nachos can be pretty good. Coming up, you'll get the stories making news right now.
We'll be checking traffic, see how things are moving along this morning. So good to have you with us on WKYT on your Friday. Good morning. Welcome back in. 5:53 the time on your Friday.
Let's take a look right now at some of the stories we're working on for you at this hour.
Our news team is busy asking lots of questions on this story. Investigators trying to figure out what led to a deadly involved shooting in Harlan County. Police say one man was killed about 7 last night in the Woodland Hills subdivision near Harlan. They say officers from the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms branch out of Lexington, as well as Lexington Police and the Lexington Fire Department's arson unit, were in an altercation with a man before he was shot.
Police are investigating after an overnight break-in at 2 Lexington vapor shops. The first happened at about midnight at the Avail Vapor Shop on Nichols Park Drive. The second break-in happened about 30 minutes later at Precision Vapor on Southland Drive. Police say they are not sure if the two are related.
Thousands of University of Kentucky students will start moving back into their dorms tomorrow. The move-ins are expected to significantly impact traffic in and around campus, especially combined with the already existing construction that is going on over there. So heads up on that if you're around campus tomorrow.
On to today's top national stories.
CBS News has learned that more than 70 Republicans are urging the Republican National Committee to stop funding Donald Trump's campaign and to instead funnel those resources to Senate and House races. Trump says he does not want support from those Republicans. In Michigan, Hillary Clinton focused on her economic plan. She called for billions in new investment in manufacturing and infrastructure. She says that will create jobs.
Police are investigating how a boy was injured while riding a roller coaster in western Pennsylvania. He was reportedly thrown from the ride and fell 12 feet onto its tracks at Idlewild Park. The child was flown to the hospital. On Sunday, a 10-year-old boy died in Kansas City, Kansas from a neck injury while riding a water slide. In today's health stories, a new study from Duke University shows robotics helps paralysis.
The research helped 8 paralyzed patients regain some sensation and muscle control in their legs. The patients worked with technology that includes virtual reality to use their own brain activity to control their legs. Amazing. Researchers say the healthiest cholesterol levels are somewhere in the middle. A study of more than 1.5 million men investigated the effects of HDL cholesterol, the so-called good cholesterol, and it found that health risks associated with both high and low levels exist. Maintaining an intermediate level may help people live longer.
Let's get a check on today's traffic trouble spots with a look at live drive traffic.
See what's going on out there right now with the current travel times into Lexington. As you see from Nicholasville, Versailles, Paris, Winchester, Georgetown, and Richmond, it's all a good ride in. No reports of any troubles. Good ride across the Clays Ferry between Fayette and Madison counties. A look now at the Lexington-Fayette Urban County Government live drive cam. This is Limestone and Euclid, and it is quiet there. Just some flashing lights there off to the side.
Right.
Somebody's, I don't know, maybe that's one of those key issues. All right, so it looks good.
Yeah, looks good. What say you, Micah? How about the weekend?
Well, the weekend doesn't look too bad. It's kind of half and half. Saturday is not all that bad. It's mainly dry. Sunday, here comes the rain off into Monday and Tuesday. Temperatures, look at Frankfort. Frankfort's temperature has actually risen since I walked in early this morning. It's not dropping, it's rising. It's pretty weird, but it's there, and it's very humid this morning, mainly dry during the morning hours. Mostly dry this afternoon, but still a small chance of rain in the forecast. Temperatures right there at 89, but feeling like 95 to 99. So like I was talking about, there is some good news in the forecasting. Your 7-day, Saturday being mostly dry, a few storms here and there, but Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, flash flooding will be a concern. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here in a couple of minutes.